And so what I'm going to do, if this is okay, I'm going to use an example in my daughter's business. And you don't have to assemble nothing, Regina. So here's what happens. We are in a tight room and we need to put together a king size bed in a room that shouldn't have a king size bed in it. But these people want a king size bed. Good morning, Lola. Okay, got it. So Lola's working. So what we have to do is from a spatial processing, that means that we don't have enough space. So we can't, so spatial processing is I know where my nose is. I can find my nose even if I close my eyes. So we have to know where each other are in this process, and we have to be able to unbox a king size bed, which means it's going to get really big before it just gets big. We have to take all the boxes. I usually have to cut them in the hallway. So that's going to require planning and problem solving. How do we take the slats? Because the slats for a king size bed are huge. How do we put the sides? And if it has an LED component, the headboard. So how are we taking this small room with this big thing and putting it together in a timely fashion, clean up and take a photo? Sometimes she's standing on top of me, hiding back from that. So it's how do you take this very complex thing? So you need reasoning to do that. So how am I going to get this thing done in order to accomplish what I need to accomplish? So you're using planning, problem solving, and spatial processing to get that accomplished in a very small time. So if you're on you're on an airplane and you're trying to get to your seat and now you're like, excuse me. So it's using all of those systems. So you're going to have to use logic and reason to get that accomplished. Please let me know if I've clarified it. Regina. Okay. And Kevin, decision making. So you're selecting a course of action or belief among several options. And so I didn't want to give that one away because we're actually going to do a decision making question. So hold that, put a pin in that, Kevin, momentarily. And then after we answer the question, then I'll go back to decision making. But in general, it's let's say this. And they've used this, I think I got this example from biology, the book Buyology on how, okay, thank you, Regina. So biology is a good book on how people make purchases. So I told you all that corporations use colleges to do research so that they can present things to you so you will purchase. And so biology, B-U-Y-ology, is a book that's designed to tap into your brain in order for you to make purchases. And so what biology determined was that if you give people 6 or more options of something, they will be overwhelmed and they won't make a decision. But if you give them less than 6, so if you go to the peanut butter section, especially back in the day before we had more store brands and organic and all of that, but if you just go to a 7-Eleven and you look for peanut butter, you're going to have 1 to 3 options. Choosy Bombs, Choose Jif. You're going to have Skippy and maybe a store brand. And with those 3 options there, you're going to make a decision based upon the 3 options that are there. Now, price point could be a factor, and if it's too much, you can be like, fuck it, I don't need peanut butter. So that's basically taking a course of action based upon things that are being presented to you. Let me know if I've answered your question. So you have several options, and now you're going to make a decision. And one thing that I learned at Frito-Lay, I learned a lot at Frito-Lay. I quote them quite often. But because I was a facilities operation manager, and a zone operations manager, we were responsible for hiring vendors. And what I always had to do, whether it was CapEx or just getting the cleaning company to clean the buildings, we needed 3 competitive quotes, always. And so I use that now no matter what. Somebody's coming to do work on a house or whatever it is, we're trying to find good contractors, independent contractors or vendors. We get 3 competitive quotes. And what I like to do is tell them what the other person said. Automatically. You're not the only one. I did this in dating. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. We got options over here. So what you bring it to the table if I was being an alpha male. So at that point, when you're making decisions, that's why you make the most informed decision possible, because you have enough information. So don't do anything without a strategy, because it's going to impact your daily decision making. So the more information you have, the more informed choice you're going to make day in and day out. Any other questions before we actually start doing the cognitive activities?